Alright, today we'll be resealing tilt cylinder off of a D3B for the blade tilt. Here's the cylinder in the book. You need some part numbers and stuff. Here you go. This is, like I said, off of a D3B. Just a little dozer. I have never done one of these cylinders, but we've done other cylinders. They're all pretty similar. As you can see, here's some oil leaking. Pretty sure this rod's bent. I don't know if you can tell in the video either, but I think we'll be okay. Just an old tractor uses once in a while. First thing I'm gonna do is clean it up. I'm guessing there's a plug or something in here. Get that cleaned up, get the threads cleaned up a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and pull it apart. Probably just use a pipe wrench, pull that apart. Probably gonna need some heat. We'll find out. All right. I kept heating and kept heating. I heated up in the side threads and finally just got it to break loose. Alright, let's go ahead and finish taking this apart. Hallelujah. Alright, I got the cylinder apart. Got a little bit of damage here and here from beating on it, pulling on it. None of that really matters because you can see the seal here and everything forward. This, just that crap that was built up around this, you can still see that rough stuff here. That's what was holding this thing in the barrel. Same here. So I'll take some emery cloth and wire wheel, clean this up before it goes all back together. Now I'm going to take the nut off, and then I'll take you through the process of pulling all these seals and replacing them. Cylinder rod and everything. Putting up a fight. All right, kind of destroyed it. You can see how I peeled it away, try to get underneath over here. I actually ended up getting underneath on the other side and popping it up. This one, I just get on top of it stab it into it. You'll be able to pull it out. Kind of see what I'm doing. Get another one in behind it. This thing is just breaking. And then just walk it out. Yeah, this is terrible. You can still see here the lip side goes down. That's going to hold your pressure down. Hold your pressure into your cylinder, I should say. It's just falling apart. Just trying to break it. Want to spin on the inside? That one. This is important to know. You got your O-ring and then your backup ring. It's important to remember which way they go. Like I said in the beginning, take pictures. Let's set this one in some solvent so we can start heating some of this up, and we'll get it cleaned up. Right on the piston. See what's tough here. We got O-ring on the inside as well. So get this cleaned up. I'm going to fast forward to clean this up and then start resealing again. Alright, we got this stuff all cleaned up. We'll go ahead and start reassembling this. Start with this lower seal. Anytime I'm putting seals and O-rings and stuff in, good idea to use a little lube, some grease, real thin grease, or Vaseline, a little bit of oil or something. Just helps it fall into place. I'm going to tuck down in there. Try to get it to sit in that first groove. So you just got that lip in there from the bottom. I'm just going to push it into place. You see, you got it all the way around in there. So now we'll go ahead and put this backup ring right on top there. It fall right into place. Next is the pressure seal. That's what's actually going to hold your oil in. We want that lip down. Same thing. Sometimes easier from the bottom. Push that first lip in. Just push it up from the bottom to hold it in place. Just take a real big screwdriver. If you want something any sharp, just push down on it. See that sticking out a little bit, so the bottom is caught a little bit. Get a better idea from the bottom. Make sure it's even all the way around. You can see you're not, but seal. Wiper seal. use a hammer. I want to walk around the very outside. I set the other side in a little bit, just tap a little. Alright, you can see as I put that O-ring on, I roll it. I'll come back through and I'll run this around. Keeps that O-ring from being twisted. That way it doesn't pinch. I'll straighten out that backup ring as well. That's it for that. A little bit different ring than the one we came off, but just slip it over. You see where the two pieces come together. That'll, when you go to press this inside, it'll collapse together and seal. It'll be real tight. Machine. Next thing we're going to do is replace this bearing. Kind of probably see here it's all busted. I got the new one already. I tried pressing this out and I didn't have any luck. I actually bent the press. These keepers here must be old school. They're pressed in. So you could probably either cut them out and just replace them, but I don't have new ones with me. I might end up doing that anyway, but what I'm going to try is just cutting the bearing out and then punching this ring from the backside. This has a notch in it here. So what I'm going to do is actually on the opposite side is blow that out and make a bigger gap and see if I can get it to fall in and then just push it out. I'll cut the spherical part out first and then go ahead and try to cut the bearing out and then punch that through. Otherwise I'll just cut this ring and just order a new one. Well, let's go ahead and do that. Oh, that worked pretty good. Didn't get the sides at all. It's not a great view, but cut the bearing out in the spherical portion. Like I said, that split worked out really well. I went ahead and cut it in half, or cut a piece of it out there. That way I was able to get a chunk of it out. And once I got that out, it fell apart. Oh, now, like I said, right on that lip, I'm going to go ahead and punch that out. Alright, so I went ahead and cleaned it up. I'm going to go ahead and put the new bearing in because it's still hot. This is going to be expanded. It'll be a lot easier to drop this bearing in. Some old timer taught me to. I use air tool oil. It's real thin. That way it doesn't bind up putting it in or nothing like that. Not that oil really would, but it's really thin. It's easier to go in. So I can do that. You can really tell when something's in when you hear that dead sound when you're hitting it with a punch. And realistically, because this has that split, I would have liked to found a socket or a bushing or something to fit that better to drive it in, but as long as you consistently go around, don't crack the other side of it. This still moves free, so we'll go ahead and clean this up a little bit and then drive this in. So in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and put some anti-seize on these threads here and here. I would like to use a lapping compound. I don't have any. What this is gonna do is just clean up those threads, make it a lot easier to go back together, and that way you get it even tighter. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna put it on there and work it back and forth all the way in, all the way out a few times. All right guys, I got the okay to just go ahead and use this rod from the customer. So we're just gonna go ahead and assemble it. First thing, don't forget this. This is step one. Otherwise you will be pulling it all back apart for that. Here, I went ahead and, like you saw in the last clip, just grease all of this up. It'll help slide onto here. This is tapered anyway, so it'll make it a little bit easier. I'll leave this up. Now for the bolt that holds the piston on, I do not have the torque spec. I know I took it off with the impact. That's what I'm going to put it on with. I recommend finding the torque, putting it on with that. But for this application, I'm not worried about it. I am going to use blue Loctite. I can see here that there was some on there. Anytime that you use Loctite, you want the threads, female and male threads, both very clean. So I take a wire, wean them up, and then use brake cleaner, clean both sides, use air to clean them off, and then you don't want to touch them with anything else again because it'll contaminate it and this stuff won't stick. So whoa. Big chunk there. That's excessive, but I didn't mean to do that. This is an 1.5 inch size socket. Everything I got to get it off, so I can give it everything I got to put it back on. Well, that wraps that up. Everything looks good. As you can see, I anti-seized all of that stuff. Anytime any of this is going to come apart, it's going to be a lot better than the last time. So keep that in mind, because you're always most likely to be the one to pull this apart again. So thanks again. Hopefully this helped you out, and keep following the channel. Thanks.